In January 2025, there'll be all sorts of confessions going on because Fesshole Live is arriving in Wolverhampton at the New Hampton Heart Centre. Rob Manuel is the man behind not only the timeline online, but also this real life sort of outing where you can get to share in other people's depravity. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for inviting me on.
It's good to have you along. And I mean, your existence is both online and in real life. So you're not just one of these people who lurks around on the internet, but
I'm
solid.
not just like this AI entity that just sort of skulks around the wires. No, there's a human being that lives here. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I'm from originally from Wolverhampton as well. So
That's all good, and it means that it's a
yeah,
hometown gig for you, and a
it is. It
chance
is.
to
Yeah.
kind of share other people's misfortune, misgivings, misdemeanors, misadventures, and many more things.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know how it works? It's like the account is I've been running about 5 years. So people just type in a form, their confession, and I get between 200 and 400 written in a day. And I burn my eyes having to read them all the horrible things people tell me. And then I pick 16 out to post on social media. And then off the back of that, I've thought it'd be fun to do some live shows. And they're quite a laugh, they are quite a laugh because what we do is there's two of us who do it. And so the first half we'll do like a best of and just go through the best material. But the second half is all about the audience and also all about the town. And so we'll because I know who's buying tickets. I'll have asked them to submit a confession beforehand, and then I'll put it into a massive PowerPoint presentation. And so we'll go around the room with everyone confess. Well, you don't have to, but normally about a third of people want to confess, and about half of that third, so 1/6 of people want to do it to your face, and another sixth want to remain anonymous. But the atmosphere in the room can be absolutely electric. Everyone's so excited to be part of it and talk and get their horrible things shared to find out whether they're weird or whether it's something that everyone does.
Yeah, well, and this is, I mean, because it takes it from something that people read most likely when they're on the loo to actually something here in a theatre. So it's cool.
Yeah, and I mean it's optional if you want to do. No. I don't want the audience all going to the toilet whilst they're there. 'Cause, I mean, I don't think I'd get invited back, would I? There's two sort of aspects. There's one like just the simple going through the older material that people have submitted, and that is a really weirdly, strangely cathartic thing. Just to know that you're not alone. Everyone sort of enjoys this stuff, but then to like fold it back into the actual people in the room doing their stuff, you get some extraordinary stuff coming up, like just in the room, like one time we had like this guy who was like saying how he had killed a swan and the room just was like, what? It was just horrified. And there was another guy saying he'd killed a tree, and then we sort of like had them sort of like facing off each other to explain their stories and which was more troublesome. And it turned out the guy who killed a swan, what he had done, it was like relatively innocent behavior because he'd been sitting having a pint by the side of the River Thames one day, not the River Severn, which I probably should know, but I'll do this true story. It was the River Thames. He was sitting by the side of the River Thames, and then he saw like a bit of turf, of earth, like maybe a foot square. And in that kind of like slightly stupid logic you do with like a few pints, you go, oh, I wonder what will happen if I just pick this up and throw it in the river. And so he threw it in the river and it landed on a swan, and the swan slowly sunk into the Thames, never to be seen again. And so that's how he
Oh,
killed the swan, and that wasn't good. But it was the guy who killed the tree who really lost the room because he killed the tree because he was it was his neighbour's tree, and so it was on the bordering edge of his garden, and it was blocking the sunshine into his garden. And he thought, I want to sunbathe in my back garden, so I'm going to kill that tree. And he googled on how you kill trees, and apparently you get copper nails and you nail it into the base, and then that's all by osmosis sucked into all this sort of bits of the tree, and it kills the tree dead. And the room hated him for that, and he lost the entire room, and they accepted the swan death.
But I love the fact that yeah, it's an interesting reflection on society and the responses you get are not true, can't be true, that's impossibly true. That's not how you're judging them, are you? You're judging because they are people's confessions. As far as you're concerned, this is what they have to share.
Yeah. I'm not judging. I'm not sitting there as the arbiter of truth. And the way I look at it is like, yes, people can lie. Of course they can lie, but it's just boring to sort of like go, oh, could this be true? Couldn't that be true? I generally for the account, I try and judge it on the level of just whether it's funny or interesting. And because it's like, how could I start from an anonymous service that can investigate the truth of like random sentences, and people like will believe things are untrue just based on just absolute nonsense in their own head. They'll be like, well, that can't happen because that's not how tills work. But like in my own life, for example, people's what I'm saying is people are so keen to leap up and shout that's not true. Like I've had it in my own life. Like about a couple of years ago, I was one morning I woke up and I took my son for a walk. At the time, was quite small, about 4 or 5, and there was this other little toddler out there with his dad, and the toddler threw a snowball at me, and can I say I don't know if I can say this word, but anyway, he threw the snowball and it hit me in my groin, and and the little boy said to his father, "Oh, I hit that man right in his penis." Is that a word I can say?
We can
And I
just
just
about
thought
get
it's
away with that.
yeah, that, yeah. And I just thought it was very funny. And I told it online and I immediately got, didn't happen, didn't happen. You're making it up. And it's like funny things happen. And that's the point, isn't it? It's like funny things happen. And if you make a system that goes, tell me your funny thing, you're not asking to tell me about the time that you fried an egg and you ate it and it was all right. You're asking me to tell you about the extraordinary time when the egg slid off and burnt your leg, and then Cilla Black had to cut you or something.
Anything could happen. So,
Anything
look,
can happen.
are there favourites for you on the site? I mean, there must be some very popular Wolfesses, but I mean, what favourites have you got?
Okay, yeah. My personal favorite is a little bit rude, and I'll try and modify it to make it a bit less rude. And it was basically this guy saying he was listening. He's in his house and he could hear noise through the window and through the wall, and it's obviously the sound of a young lady, maybe having some intimate time on her own. And he found this quite an exciting thing, and so he started having a bit of intimate time to himself. Then later, he found out he was listening to a pigeon. That was one of my favorites.
And what's been the audience favourite out there?
Okay, in terms of absolute the most favs, I looked it up earlier today, and this has had it's crazy the numbers these things got. It has had 162,000 favs. So that's just stupid amounts. And I'll read this one out. It goes, 8-year-old daughter lost her hearing. And so it's a sweet one. The ones that do the biggest numbers are quite sweet. 8-year-old daughter lost her hearing, had to learn how to do sign language. Struggled at first as none of her friends knew how to talk to her. One day, I noticed our Labrador run to the treat cupboard after she signed the sign for treat to her. And in the absence of her friends, our dog had learned for her.
Oh, that
I've got another one I like as
go
well.
on.
Oh, if you
Yeah.
want to, okay. This is one that I just liked the other day, and it says, "I like to make up cringe corporate sayings in team meetings to see if they'll catch on." And I felt a great sense of achievement when my boss remarked about a client, "If the ducks want bread, give them bread." It's like, just please, it catched on, and it created this great thread where people were like sharing the phrases they'd put into meetings, like, "It's a bent paintbrush that paints its own handle." Stepping up to the skateboard. You would slip, I think. Thinking outside the umbrella. If the dogs are barking, scratch them behind the ears. And then one said to their boss once, "Let's put that in the ideas fridge." Sorry, I can't even say it's so stupid. "Let's put that in the ideas fridge and snack on it later."
And it's a whole crazy world. Now, during the show itself, you'll be bringing some unheard confessions to the stage, in addition to the audience's own, and of course, more of the favourites from the site. I mean, over 5 years at 16 a day, that's an awful lot of confessions. I'm not even going to try and work that one out, but it's amazing numbers. It all gets going at 7:30 on Thursday, the 30th of January, 2025. And you can, where do you get your tickets? How do you come along? How do you buy?
Oh, if you go to the Twitter account, it's in the pinned post, or on Blue Sky, it's in the pinned post, or on any of the social medias. Yeah, yeah. Google Fesshole Wolverhampton tickets, the easiest thing.
Yeah, and be able to grab your tickets there. Well, I mean, yeah, does this mean you've got a homecoming event and no boards to pay? Have you got friends and family to stay with on the night, so you can enjoy the whole
I
shenanigans?
yeah, I actually was offered board from I don't have family in the area anymore, but I do have some school friends in the area, and I did get offered board, and I was just like, you know what, I'm going to stay in the Premier Inn because I am going to see. There's like a bunch of people I was at junior school with who have all promised to come down, and I'm a little bit frightened of that. I mean, obviously, it'd be quite nice to see some friends, but there's like I've been told that like some of these friends are coming, and then there's these two kids who I haven't seen since I was like about 12, and they were twins, and I'm being told they'd come. They were like Harry and James Millichamp, and I always remember them. They were like smaller than me, and they were little kids. And they used to bully me when I was at school by because I used to have bright red hair, and they would run up behind me and like rub their hands and pretend to warm their hands on my hair as if it was fire. And so I might get bullied again by these twins 30 odd years later.
You've got a microphone. You'll probably be able to get your own back. That's the thing.
Absolutely. That's the thing. You're in the power in the room. I don't mind at all. It'd be fun. It'd be fun to see them.
Well, Rob Manuel, the man behind Fesshole, available on most of your social media streams and usual other places too. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.